Hello everyone, my name is Musa Darna and today I am going to be going over my vulnerability presentation that I conducted a vulnerability assessment on the hidden Linux server in our isolated lab environment, and I'll be going over the findings and some remediations that I put in place to help remediate these vulnerabilities and uh, harden our security posture for the server. So, starting off with the executive summary, in total we detected 47 vulnerabilities across the hidden Linux server. 15 of those were high severity, 28 of those were medium severity, and 4 of those were low severity. These vulnerabilities included serious risks like remote code execution vulnerabilities, use of default database credentials, and outdated software that is no longer supported. Immediate remediation is required to address these risks. Without intervention, the server is highly vulnerable to compromise, potentially allowing attackers to gain administrative control, exfiltrate data, or destroy system integrity. Our overall conclusion is that the server's security posture is critical and remediation needs to be prioritized. All right, and so this presentation is only going to go over the 15 most critical findings from the report, 10 of those which will be high and 5 of those will be medium severity. So diving into the high severity findings first, we found a backdoor in the VSFTPD version 2.3.4, which is a malicious version that allows attackers to open a shell on port 6200 without authentication. Second, the Unreal RCD server installed had an authentication spoofing vulnerability, allowing users to impersonate other users. This is a serious flaw in any real-world environment. Third, the Apache Tomcat server was vulnerable to GhostCat, or CVE 2020-1938, which allows attackers to read files on the server and potentially achieve remote code execution. The fourth one, which deals with the PostgreSQL database, which was left with default credentials, Postgres, as both username and password, meaning anyone on the network could access and modify the database. And the fifth one, which was a service called Distributed Ruby, or DRuby, was found to allow remote code execution without restrictions or authentication. Moving on to the next 5 high severity findings. The sixth one was the distcc service, which allowed arbitrary command execution from unauthenticated users. The seventh one, which was an ingress block backdoor, which was identified, giving unauthorized root level access. And the eighth one, which was the TWiki access and command injection, which was an old TWiki installation that was found vulnerable to cross-site scripting and Perl code injection attacks. The ninth one, PHP multiple vulnerabilities. PHP CGI mode allows remote attackers to execute arbitrary PHP commands due to improper sanitization. And the 10th one, which was OpenSSL, Open Secure Shell CCS injection, which was the improper processing of chain cipherspec messages, which allows man-in-the-middle attacks, compromising Secure Shell TLS sessions. Moving on into the medium severity findings, there were several weaknesses in the SSH service. First, which was the weak host keys like SSH-DSS, which were accepted, even though they are no longer considered secure. The weak key exchange methods like Diffie-Hellman Group 1 SHA, which were supported. This makes it easier for attackers to decrypt SSH sessions. The third one, which was old and weak encryption algorithms like 3DES, which were allowed, exposing secure communications to downgrade attacks. The fourth one, which was a vulnerable Samba version, which is vulnerable to remote command execution through improperly sanitized inputs. And the last medium vulnerability we found, or that's going to be covered in this presentation, is dangerous HTTP methods like put and delete were enabled on the web server, which could allow attackers to upload malicious content or delete files improperly. So while these vulnerabilities they might require more specific conditions to exploit compared to the high severity ones, they still represent some significant risk that needs to be mitigated on the server. So some of the recommendations or the remediation steps to address these vulnerabilities, first would be to upgrade all outdated services such as Apache Tomcat, PHP, and Samba to their latest supported versions. The second one, which would be to change all default credentials, particularly the PostgreSQL one. The third one, which would be to harden the or patch critical vulnerabilities. The fourth one, which would be to disable dangerous services and protocols such as AJP and DRB. And finally, migrate from end-of-life Ubuntu version to the supported LTS. And these are my references. And thank you for watching.